Breaking news this morning out of Chicago. Chicago public school teachers are going on strike this morning, and the city has canceled classes for 350,000 students.
Negotiations have been intense but productive. However, we have failed to reach an agreement that will prevent a labor strike.
I am disappointed that we have come to this point, given that even all the other parties acknowledge how close we are, because this is a strike of choice.
And Stephanie Banchero joins us from Chicago with this breaking news. Stephanie, they've been engaged in marathon contract talks. What really caused the breakdown here?
Well, there's really two big issues that the two sides are fighting over. One has to do with teacher evaluations, how much of the teacher evaluations is going to be based on student test scores. And the other one has to do with recall rights, sort of what rights do laid off teachers have when there's new job openings within the district.
Now, this is actually kind of fascinating, this dynamic here. We have Rahm Emanuel, a Democrat, going up against the teachers' unions. And traditionally, Democrats have been an ally of the teachers' union. Can you describe why the break here?
Yeah, well, this is sort of something that you're seeing across the nation, you know, everywhere from Los Angeles to Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., Sacramento, and here in Chicago. Democratic mayors are sort of taking on the teachers' unions, partly because of, you know, at a fiscal crisis, they need to rein in the teacher raises and the teacher pensions, but also because there's a real push for education reform led by a Democrat in the White House, Obama, and so the Democratic mayors are feeling empowered to take on the unions. And in many cases, the unions have tried to work with the Democratic mayors. But here in Chicago, Karen Lewis, who's the head of the Chicago Teachers Union, and Mayor Rahm Emanuel have had an antagonistic relationship from the get-go. They have just been at each other's throats from the outset. And a lot of people thought that we were heading for this for a year based on the relationship between the two.
How strong a hand does Rahm Emanuel have and the teachers union on the other side, and really how long could this go on?
Well, that's actually a really great question. I mean, typically in teacher union strikes, what you'll see is the public outcry will be in support of the parent or in support of the teachers, mainly because parents want their kids back in school. And the person that has the power to, you know, write the contract is the school board or the mayor in this case. So oftentimes parents will get behind the teachers simply just to get kids back in school. In this case, it's going to be really interesting to see because Rahm has offered them a raise, a 3% raise first year, 2% for all the years after that, which in this environment is not a bad deal. So it'll be interesting to see where the parental support is. You know, if it lasts only one day, which is what some people are thinking, it could only last a day or two, you know, who knows? If it stretches on, you know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think that Rahm might have the upper hand if it stretches on, because it seems like on the surface he's offering a good deal. Now, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you know, the details of the teacher evaluations, you might side with the unions. But on the raises, I think Rahm has the upper hand here.
And you also mentioned in your very good story today on WSJ.com that Chicago teachers have actually gotten a raise recently. How well are they paid?
Yeah, so in fact, you know, Mayor Emanuel, partly why he antagonized the teachers is he came out a couple months ago and said, you know, Chicago teachers have gotten a 4% raise every year for the last 4 years, and students got the shaft. And that was negotiated by Mayor Daley, the previous mayor of Chicago, who wanted to keep labor peace in the city. He gave teachers a pretty lucrative contract, 4% every year for 4 years. They're already paid about $69,000, $70,000 on average, and they were getting 4% raises when, as you know, the economy was, you know, going in the tank. So, you know, they're pretty well paid right now. Mayor Emanuel did take back their 4% raise last year, only further rubbing salt in the wound.